It is Monday morning. Take two. It is Yoda Monday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This morning, let's play with the latest iteration of very easy meditation. Bear with me while I remove my earbuds. Let's begin with the first quarter of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 5 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 sets, and you've got 96. We can count those 8 sets in our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 12 inhalations each. Since we are on our first quarter, we could keep track of it by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Come, let us demystify enlightenment. To the jaundiced man, snow appears yellow. To those who are rigid and controlling and elitist, enlightenment is an impossibility. For those who are on the path of being flexible and laid back and egalitarian, like the Buddha, enlightenment can be mastered in as little as a week. What if enlightenment was simply mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what do we mean by mastery? What if when you master any skill, it simply means we got so good at it and so comfortable with it that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively? Now here's an extra added bonus. The 7th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is mindfulness. The 8th fold is meditation. Play with these every 12 hours correctly, and the remaining 6 folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path could take care of themselves. In light of this, I think you'll agree it could be very important for us to take some time to view mindfulness and meditation through the lens of neuroscience. And we shall do that after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Please chant with me. The nudity of the archetypical couple sporting in tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to mindfulness. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. Since the Neolithic Revolution, the majority of societies have been conditioning the majority of their citizens to be rigid, to be so rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel that they will denigrate the extreme minority who strive to move in the opposite direction. such as being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. So when these rigid folk teach meditation, it should not be terribly surprising that they implore their students to actively focus and actively analyze. Now, neurologically speaking, the only neural pathways that are capable of these actions are those found in discrete regions such as the medial prefrontal cortex or the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Here's the problem. Overwork this area and you trigger your amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. Anxiety and aggression are the opposite direction of what we want for meditation. We don't want anxiety, we want peace. We don't want to be aggressive, we want to be loving. But I've got some good news for you. Neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex comprise the entirety of our central nervous system. So let's explore that right now. Let's explore the first idea we're going to explore, because we're going to explore this over the course of this morning's live stream is divided into 4 quarters, and we're going to divide this exploration by 4. That way we don't get overwhelmed. Nobody needs that. So let's begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are already wired by evolution to effortlessly access the sympathetic nervous system found in the central region of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. To help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But notice what? Notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like. Such as emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. This is a lot of stuff we got going on, and it can feel overwhelming. Is there an easy way to do this? Yes. Yes, there is. When we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we influence our cerebral cortex to stop opposing our sympathetic nervous system and start cooperating with it. Now let's explore just an essential, concise view of meditation. Every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are wired to so physically relax that we mentally release what we noticed during our previous inhalation, causing what we noticed to fleetingly feel less solid, less permanent, and less defining. Before we start meditating, allow me to remind you that simply by playing with mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours, we familiarize our mind with the literal impermanence that supports letting go. So right now, together as a team, let's meditate. Welcome to the second quarter of Mindful Crease Counting Meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 sets, and you get 96. We can count those 8 sets on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 12 inhalations each. We can keep track of this, our second quarter, by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Now, yes, this is complicated, but repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two, you could master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. The translucence of the archetype of the all-good father and mother depicted in paintings reminds us of meditation's experience of impermanence and non-graspability. Quick review. Let us briefly review mindfulness. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. That's a whole bunch of stuff to notice. In addition to this, we can notice the external, the internal, the physical, the mental, the pleasurable, the painful, the interesting, the boring, the glorious, and the grotesque. How do we cope with this? Now let us explore the neuroscience of meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are already wired to effortlessly access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of our spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. When we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we gently coax our cerebral cortex to stop repressing our parasympathetic nervous system and begin cooperating with it. When we do so, we wind up releasing what we noticed during our previous inhalation to such a degree that what we noticed could figuratively feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as powerful as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand? Now let us review this within the context of the Eightfold Path, which is the outline of enlightenment. By playing with mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, we become so well acquainted with figurative emptiness, with the figurative emptiness that supports our mental release. Therefore, together as a team, let us play with mindfulness and meditation right now. Please bear with me for a bit of editing. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. Welcome to the third quarter of Mindful Crease Counting Meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we can advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 sets, and you've got 96. We can count those 8 sets in our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 12 inhalations each. We keep track of this, our third quarter, by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing this could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. Please chant with me. The beauty of the archetype sky blue kuntu zangpo and cloud white kuntu zangbo yam yam. Remind us of the highest love, spontaneous and uncontrived. So let us review a bit of the old neuroscience at this point. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12. Well, that's so weird. Okay, well, let's just try that. Here we go. Let's hit copy. And go forward 12 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And paste. Kawabunga. Okay, here we go. Thank you very much for your patience. So we're going to review a bit of the old neuroscience. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. 90% of us are quite rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. An extreme minority, only an extreme minority of us, choose to pursue the path of being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Most of us are like the Big Lebowski. Very few of us are like the dude. When the folks who are like the Big Lebowski teach meditation, they teach it from the point of view of being rigid and controlling. And often with the best of intentions, they implore their students to practice, to actively focus and to actively analyze. And when doing so, triggers their amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, and they find themselves being snippy and cranky and stumpy and snorty. They try to fix it, but since they're victims of the sunk cost logical fallacy, the only tools they keep returning to are the tools of focus and analysis. And so, with the best of intentions, they try to focus and analyze love, but that just further stimulates their amygdala, making them more anxious and cranky. I've got some good news for you. Good news part one. When we when we play with mindfulness and meditation for as little as 12 hours a day, I'm sorry, that's really weird. For as little as once every 12 hours or so, that's better. Silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, thus facilitating awareness. Silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, thus facilitating release, the release of meditation. Do this, and we soothe the tyranny of our anxiety and our aggression. We are still capable of feeling those things, but they control our choices, utterances, and deeds less and less and less. And there's a second set of benefits. Play with mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, and you will stimulate the anterior cingulate gyrus. It's the structure that looks like the letter C and that's been highlighted with the color fuchsia. This bad boy functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, the root of compassion and love. And this is exactly what the late Tulku Thanda meant when he taught that rely upon the contrivance of focus and analysis, and all we will contrive is love's analog, flaccid and worthless and weak. However, rely on mindfulness and meditation, and we will experience the highest love, which is the spontaneous, uncontrived, and effortless byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. And this is important. 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. Kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of conduct, commerce that is as cooperative as it is kind. All this from simply playing with mindfulness and meditation. So together, as a team, let us play with mindfulness and meditation right now. And please remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. Please strike while the iron is hot. Welcome to the fourth and final quarter of a mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we can advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 sets and you get 96. We could count those 8 sets on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 12 inhalations each. To keep track of this, our final quarter, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the crown region of our head. Please chant with me. The stability with which the octave sky blue samanta mandara sits, and the abandon with which cloud white samanta mandari sports, reminds us of the effortless effort of centered spontaneity. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we can notice several things. We could vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, fleetingly notice, yes, mind's antics of perception, emotion, attention, cognition, recollection, imagination, but also notice that we desire only some of the things we perceive and dread other things. Not everything, but many things. But you also could notice that we experience a resistance to the absence of what we desire. We also could notice that we experience a resistance to the presence of what we dread. Now in response to this, in reaction to this, you could proclaim a resounding, duh, and that's fine. But check this out. When we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we can so relax that we mentally release our resistance to the absence of what we desire. And we could also release our resistance to the presence of what we dread. Now, this is where you can actually, if I was really clever and I had the sound effect, I would put the record scratch sound effect. Because this is where most people get scared. Because it could sound like I'm asking you to become a doormat so that life can drag its mucky boots all over you. But consider this. The more we practice mindfulness and meditation, the more our choices and our utterances and our deeds seem to flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. Not the scattered spontaneity we experience after our fourth espresso, but the centered spontaneity that flows from mindfulness and meditation. The centered spontaneity that could be considered going with the flow, being more like the dude instead of the Big Lebowski. Some people would consider it dancing with the Buddha nature. But what do we mean by Buddha nature? Buddha nature is a charming Iron Age way of describing the fact that we seem to have a natural faculty for the teachings, that they aren't contrived or forced, they aren't the result of ritual or a blessing. They are standard factory issued. Now, in the digital age, we have imaging equipment like the MRI, the magnetic resonance imaging equipment, that has been able to show us that it is our sympathetic nervous system that is the seat of mindfulness, that it is our parasympathetic nervous system that is the seat of meditation, that it is our anterior cingulate gyrus that is the seat, or our seat, of empathy. Every healthy human is capable not only of practicing the Buddha's Eightfold Path, but mastering it. So let us make the most of this, the final quarter of this early morning's practice. Together as a team, let's practice mindfulness and meditation. L'chaim. You have taken another step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's mid-morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the force be with you always.